Hello, Carolyn here. I am here to give you a very quick, easy to follow explanation of Mercury retrograde. Okay, so Mercury retrograde seems to be one of the most common astrological happenings and terms that we hear, and everybody always wants to know what it's about. And I'm going to try my best to explain it to you in a really easy to follow, simple way because it's not anything to be scared of, even though, like, that's the way that social media portrays it. So, for starters, I don't label myself an astrologist or an astrologer, even though I have been studying these things since I was probably 12 years old. The only form of astrology readings that I choose to do are if people don't know anything about their birth charts. I love, love, love teaching people how to read and understand their birth charts. And I really love learning about the energy of the different signs and the different planets and what it means when each planet is in each different sign, right? So those are the things that I kind of specialize in. I'm not into like the transits and the terms that people don't understand. So with that being said, I want to try to give you a very simple, easy explanation of what it means when Mercury is in retrograde, okay? Also, check out one of my other videos that's just like the basics of astrology, and that's a really good starting point. And that one I discuss like how to read your birth chart. What is a birth chart? What are zodiac signs? What are the planets? Like, what is an air sign? So really basic stuff. So let's talk about Mercury in retrograde. Okay. So Mercury is a planet, right? The planet Mercury rules over a bunch of different things. So every planet has like a different energy that it rules. So Mercury itself, I could list 20 things, but the basics are communication, logic, thoughts of the mind, systems, the way that things work, okay? And then it even goes more into transportation, electronics, contracts. Like, think of air signs themselves are Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra, right? So if you're familiar with those, thinking of it's swords and tarot, these are thoughts, mind, system, communication, logic, reasoning, all of those things have to do with like learning new systems and writing and teaching in school. So all that jazz, right? So that's what this planet rules, okay? When a planet is retrograde, what that means is the planet itself is appearing to spin backwards. It doesn't actually spin backwards, but it appears to spin backwards. So here's what happens. When a planet is retrograde, it means that all of the energy, right? This is what we think. This is the theory. That all of the energy and the ideas that are associated with that planet can kind of be out of whack, okay? So communication, there could be miscommunication. They say, don't sign contracts during this time. Make sure you really double check contracts. Don't make big decisions. There could be mess ups with transportation and traveling, right? People could not be using their logic and not thinking before they speak, right? So this is how this works. Again, all of the and this happens for every planet when it's retrograde. So all of the energy, everything that Mercury represents, when it's retrograde, because the energy is different, it can appear and kind of stir up problems in those areas. So that's why people are scared of it, right? Because we've been taught that if something's wrong with communication, it's just it's gonna be chaos. Like, everybody's gonna be miscommunicating. There's gonna be trouble traveling. Like, the big thing is electronics for me. Maybe it's just a coincidence that my electronics seem to all be slow and irritating during Mercury retrograde, but and then there's a second part to this. When this is happening, when these planets are in fact retrograde, the best thing to do is to focus all of the energy on all of those things inward, okay? So it's a time for the R's. So it's a time to rest, reset, renew, rethink, re-look at, right? It's a time to double check the contracts, maybe go over our daily tasks and systems. Think before we speak and journal instead of yelling at people, right? So all of these things that are outward with communication that involve other people, this is a time again to pause, rest, reset, renew, rethink about systems. So, this happens very often, and more often than not, like, we really need to do this. Like, this is a really great opportunity every time this happens for us to go back within our own energy, go back into our own thoughts. Some people start new cycles every day. Some people start new cycles every week. Some people start it with the season. Some people wait until the freaking first of the year. But astrologically speaking, if you want to work with this energy, not against it, that's what you do. So there are tons of great resources out there for how to survive Mercury retrograde. I mean, you can literally go to Instagram and look up like a guide, right? Look up like journal prompts and things like that. But just like know it's not anything to be scared of, right? So again, the planet Mercury rules communication systems, thoughts, travel, all of that stuff. When a planet is retrograde, it appears in the sky that it's going backwards. And because of this, the energy involved with that can be kind of messed up. And so it's a good time to look inward and work on those things inward and pause and reset instead of dealing with those things outward with other people. So like I said, I have another video that goes into a lot of explanation about just astrology in general and kind of the things that I'm talking about. You're like, what is an air sign that she's talking about? I will talk about that in there. So again, I'm Carolyn. And if this resonated with you, check out my other videos, give me a like, subscribe. If you're like, what is she talking about? This is so stupid. That's also fine. It's okay. Leave a comment. It gives me engagement. Or if you have different thoughts or different opinions on this, to each their own. Again, I've been studying astrology since I was a teenager. And these are, when I share these things, these are just things that I've learned, that I've been taught, and that I've like collected information wise over time. So again, Mercury retrograde happens a few times a year. Nothing to be scared of, but it does lead us to a lot of good memes.